Welcome to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse, and today is September 17th. It's Friday, and the market has ended for the week. Anyway, just as a reminder, if you like the show, hit that share button, hit that like button, and let me know you enjoy the show by leaving comments and getting involved. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. Money Chat Now is brought to you by Investor Schooling, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday by going to investorschooling.com, and you'll be able to learn about real estate investing and stock options trading from those who do it every day. All right, on today's show, we will be discussing the market update. We will be discussing the fact that millennials, that's one of those words that if you can't say it once, you probably can't say it 10 times. But we're going to be discussing millennials can't buy houses. We're going to be talking about Biden's booster blows, more Chinese stocks in danger, and of course, some lead pipe stories. That should fascinate you. Just those titles should fascinate you, right? Lead pipes and Biden's booster blows. Come on now. That should entice you in a minute. All right, here we go. Let's talk a little bit about what happened in the Dow today. The Dow tanked today, 167 points down. In fact, it's the low for the week. So we didn't have a really great week. Same thing with the S&P, same thing with the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ finished below 100, actually went down about 138 points, which is not great, once again. But look, we also know that it's September. And we've been talking about this for a while. September just likes to do this. September likes to beat up stocks. So it is possible that we're almost over. I've said this before, that at the end of September, we're going to come out of what we call the dead zone. And because we're coming out of the dead zone, we will probably start moving forward. I had some plays today that I had a call that I finished because they were calls that ended today. And unfortunately, I got hurt on almost every one of them. It's sad. Believe it or not, AAL was the only one that I didn't get hurt on. But, it's going to happen. You're going to have some plays that are going to go bad. Don't get stuck there. Make sure that you're okay with it. Make sure that it's not money that that will change your lifetime if you lose, lifestyle if you lose. Just play it right and have some fun. Okay. So in the news today, there was an article, and I happen to agree with this. Student loans keep millennials from buying houses. Half the people who haven't yet purchased a home pointed to student loan debt as the reason for the delay. That's a finding from a new report by the National Association of Realtors, who conducted an online poll in June of almost 2,000 student loan borrowers. Millennials were the most likely, 60% of them, to say their student loan debt was making them put off home ownership, although more than a third of baby boomers said the same. So what's basically happening is people have these student loans, they can't pay them, or even if they can pay them, the payment is so high that their debt-to-income ratio is affecting the fact that they can buy houses. Outstanding student loan debt in the U.S. has surpassed $1.7 trillion and burdens Americans more than credit card and auto debt. Around a third of the borrowers are delinquent or in default. And here's basically how it happens. The student loans are affecting the ability to qualify for mortgages. Their debt-to-income ratio, their DTI, are a big factor in their problem. Student loans are the most predatory loans ever created, in my opinion. They prey on the young and uninformed that were indoctrinated to believe that they must have a college education to get a good job or earn a living. Honestly, look, you can get a college education, you can not get a college education. It really depends on what you want to do. But most people are taught from an early age that if they don't go to college, they're not going to be able to get a good job. This is total crap. You can get a good job if you go to college, or you can be an entrepreneur like me, like the people I hang around with, and you could still make lots of money. The real question is whether you need to go to college or not. And if you do need to go to college, how to structure your college loans without getting hurt. I know some of you may or may not know, but if you have a college loan, that loan is never going to be forgiven. We talked about the other day how Biden promised he was going to forgive it. Sure enough, we already know that, Biden's not going to make any promises. I don't even know if he can remember his promises, so that might be the part of the problem as well. I mean, the guy doesn't even remember his frickin' name half the time, but it is what it is. However, the problem with the college loans is they're predatory. They're going against people who are 17 years old and don't know what they're doing, and they're buying and they're going to college for absolutely no reason. If you want to go to college properly, Go to college with intention. If you want to be a doctor, obviously you need to go to college. If you want to be a lawyer, obviously you need to go to college. However, if those aren't your intentions, maybe you should think about what you want to do before you get yourself into debt, and don't use the college loans that they offer. Maybe you can get a different type of loan. And as a matter of fact, at Investor Schooling, we teach this a lot, so this might be something you may want to do. All right, let's talk about Biden's booster blows. Yes, COVID again. That's right. How can we have a news show without talking about COVID? Oh, this week the FDA has met, and actually says will meet, but it has met to decide whether the booster shots for the vaccine is going to be necessary. So some scientists, including two at the FDA, aren't entirely convinced that every American who has received the Pfizer vaccine needs extra doses at this time. In documents released ahead of the advisory committee meeting, the FDA scientists declined to take a stance on whether to back third shots, says U.S. regulators, and they also are independently reviewing or verifying some of the data to support the use of boosters. So here's what happened. They did this, and it turns out that they feel that booster shots are not ready yet. So they don't need them. They're saying you may not need them. So the Supreme Leader, our Supreme Leader Biden and his administration, has said he wants to begin offering booster shots to the general public as early as next week, pending authorization from the FDA. Now, the FDA said no. And of course, you need to understand that the Supreme Leader says this, then that means it's not an offer, and you're not going to be allowed to refuse it. After all, he is the Supreme Leader. The committee did not deliver a favorable vote, and it's going to force the Supreme Leader and his administration to shift gears on his plan, perhaps limiting third shots to certain groups of Americans, such as those aged 65 or older, who are known to be at higher risks of severe illness. That makes sense to me. Look, if you got severe illness or if you have a comorbidity, absolutely it would make some sense to get a booster if you feel you need one. Look, I'm on the fence whether I think these things are harmful. They might be, based on some of the stories I hear. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But at the same time, as you know, I am of the belief that if you want to get a booster shot or if you want to get a COVID vaccine, do it, but do it because you want to, not because the Supreme Leader and his goon squad has told you to do it. By the way, there was Akiko Isawaki said that it's more important, she works for the WHO, she says it's more important that we focus on giving first shots to everyone else around the world before moving on to booster doses. So there you go. That's the whole point, is they want to say that, listen, there are countries out there that don't have the shot. Why don't we give it to them before we start doing booster shots? All right, let's do this. Let's go to a commercial right now, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the next topic.
Okay, so you've thought about investing in real estate, houses, apartment buildings, properties, but don't really know where to start? Well, what if you could very easily learn how to gain strategies to use other people's money to buy and sell houses in the Philadelphia area? If you could learn and network with successful area real estate investors and how to produce monthly income on rental properties without headaches, that place is Investor Schooling. With Investor Schooling, you'll learn from two Philadelphia area rockstar real estate investors, Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhouse, about how to buy and sell properties the easy way and teach you basic and advanced techniques to help you make money in real estate. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online visual classes 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate. Call for free information and get a complimentary pass to one of these classes. But don't delay, as these complimentary passes are limited. Call the number on your screen now or visit investorschooling.com. investorschooling.com.
Welcome back to Money Chat Now. I am your host, Larry Steinhouse, and so far we've been talking about the fact that the market just stunk today. I mean, actually stunk this week. It was down at its lowest point this week, and that's where it finished. Hopefully next week we're going to get a nice boost and things will start to come back. We talked about the fact that millennials can't buy houses because they just can't afford to buy them. Maybe they even can, but their bank says they can't because their debt-to-income ratio is way too high. It's so sad that these predatory loans let people ruin their lives. We also talked about the fact that Biden's booster shot is not being approved by the FDA. They're telling him to hold back. And that's a good thing, I believe. Anyway, That way we'll be able to see if we can get a little more data. Let's talk about some Chinese stocks and what's happening with Chinese stocks. A group of Chinese stock companies totaling $3.2 trillion in market capitalization could be at risk of further regulatory crackdown by Beijing, according to an assessment by Goldman Sachs. Most of these companies are industries such as internet, education, media and entertainment, real estate, and healthcare, the investment bank said in a report. Goldman didn't name any of the firms deemed to be at risk, although I know a few of them, and I own them. Oh no. Anyway, while the scope of tightening is clearly broad-based, the fact pattern so far suggests to us that social welfare is high on the policy agenda, and that policymakers may prioritize social fairness, stability over capital markets in areas that may be considered social necessities, which is what was said from an official from Goldman. Okay, we have had Chinese stocks dropping down 25% and some more than 50% since China has been pressuring the companies into socialistic methodologies. Two stocks that I follow, Alibaba and Tencent, are just ones that were destroyed, and these guys have been fully crushed. So as you know, what's going on in China is China saying, listen, you guys can't make too much money. We don't want you to make that much money. You have to give away your money, and you have to be part of the socialistic agenda that's going to make more supreme leaders in more countries like China. And by the way, if you want to know what's going to happen here, follow China, because we're not far behind, maybe 10 or 20 years behind. At max, I'm hoping for more. Listen, I'm 57. If America lasts another 35 years, I'll be very happy. After that, I really don't care. It is what it is. And if you're going to ask me, don't I care about my kids? And I'm going to say absolutely, but they voted for Biden and they voted for Obama, so it's their own problem. Let's talk a little bit about lead pipes. So one of the most positive parts of the Biden infrastructure bill includes a provision to replace lead pipes across the country. The bill includes grants and special loans that will afford many to be able to replace the older pipes. Lead pipes, which connect public water to mains in private homes, are buried in just about every U.S. state, according to researchers. While water contamination issues in cities such as Flint, Michigan, and Newark, New Jersey, have made lead pipes a more high-profile issue, most states have made little progress in eliminating them. By the way, these pipes leading to the homes, if this infrastructure bill passes and this part passes, the pipes leading to the homes will be replaced by the cities. However, the pipes inside the homes will still be the responsibility of the homeowner. Now look, lead, even at low levels, has been linked to nervous system damage, learning disabilities, and slow growth in children, as well as complications for pregnant women, according to scientists and public health officials. Again, I don't know this for sure. I'm just going to assume this is true, but I personally had experience with lead pipes and how they can slow water flow. So they actually seem to close up as the water flows through them, and they start to get rusty. They flow through them. The water flows through them, and many houses need these lead pipes replaced. I've actually done it in one of my houses, and it's anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000 to replace these. Now, so if you have a home that they replace the pipes, the city replaces the pipes, you still have to replace the pipes inside your home. So the nice thing about this too is the grant is also going to provide loans that will be a help for many. Most of these are poor people, of course. And of course, they'll be able to get these loans and they'll be able to get grants to replace the pipes inside the home. That's great. However, my prediction is that even if it's passed and this money becomes available, most will not know how to access the money or actually believe they can get it. This is a common problem with government benefits. You know, I did a big thing yesterday at an investor schooling. I did a big presentation about Obamacare and how great it is for small business owners. Now, whether you're no matter what your political affiliation is, I'm going to tell you that Obamacare is the greatest thing for the small business owner if you know how to structure it properly. All right. But this is the same thing with this, with the lead pipe. So what's going to happen is they're going to offer these grants and they're going to offer these loans, special loans for people in low-income areas, and that's fine. That's what they should do. And people are not going to know that they can take advantage of them. And the grant's going to go away, and they're going to miss it. And they go, oh, I could have got that grant. I didn't know about that. So what the government, I believe, needs to do is they need to do a better job in educating people on these grants, on this stuff. I got to tell you that at Investor Schooling, we do that. So if you ever go to Investor Schooling, you're going to learn how to take advantage of some of the government programs that are out there. Last year, we taught people how to take advantage. And when I say take advantage, I mean get the money that is due them, like the EIDL loans, which were the disaster loans for COVID. So we had a disaster, whether you believe it existed or not. It existed financially, that's for sure. And if you wanted to, you could have gotten a loan from the government, 3.75% loan. So that would be great. All right. Let's do this real quick. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk a little bit about the contest that's still going on. And I'm going to tell you, this contest is a good one. Listen, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't mind winning a car. I just can't. I don't qualify for it because I kind of own the company, so I can't qualify for it. But there's a car out there, a red BMW Z4, that's in our parking lot right now if you want to come see it. And you could win this car by entering this contest. And Phil's going to tell you how to do that right now.
Hey, if you were listening to Investor Schooling Live today, I'm Phil Falcone, and I made the decision today on air that I'm going to be giving away this car. You want to take a look at it? Let's do it. How would you like to pop your top without ever getting out of the car? Huh? It's pretty cool. You can do it at a red light. You can do it when you see it rainy. You can actually even do it when you're driving, as long as you don't go maybe faster than 10 miles an hour. So I am giving away this car. Why? Is it because I'm crazy? Is it because I'm rich? Is it because of both? Take your pick. I don't care. Let me tell you about the car. We're going to have a contest. We're looking for real estate investors to go to our website and give us a real estate tip. And you can have people that you know vote on the site about which real estate tip is the most quality, most valuable to them. So let's just say that our contest is going to be looking for quality real estate tips and for votes. So you need to get your friends, your family, people who care about you, and real estate investors who are willing to go on the site and vote for it. And I will give you this car.
Welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse, and we've been talking about several things. We've been talking about the fact that the Dow is down at the lowest point this week. I believe it's going to come back. I believe we're going to be fine. You just got to give it some time. We've been talking about the fact that millennials can't buy houses because of their debt-to-income ratio, because they're getting into these predatory loans. We talked about the fact that the FDA did not approve Biden's booster shot, so you don't have to go get your booster shot. Yay! We also talked about the fact that Chinese stocks are in danger right now because of Chinese regulation and socialism. We talked about lead pipes and the fact that inside Biden's infrastructure plan is a provision to replace lead pipes. I'm a big fan of this. I kind of hope that this happens. But then again, I also hope that student loans are going to be forgiven. But I don't even think that Biden can remember the promises he makes. So this probably won't happen either. I want to talk a little bit about Facebook. I mentioned this yesterday. I mentioned the fact that Wall Street Journal is doing an expose on Facebook, and they're calling it the Facebook Files. I also said that I felt that their expose was going to drive the stock down, and I think they're doing it for their own purposes, but whatever, it's okay. It's good articles. And sure enough, today, Facebook dropped almost 10 points. So now these articles are starting to finally kick in, which is awesome to a point. Now, I'd like to see Facebook in the 330s, and I think it's going to be a play again. I've actually taken it off my list because I wasn't looking at it anymore because it got too high. But the cool part is, one of my favorite parts of this latest Facebook File article is the fact that they were talking about the virus. So Facebook has done things to suppress people like myself, like some of my fellow radio hosts, like Bill Spady, if you know him, on 101.5. He cracks me up every morning. This guy is talking about the virus and why, and why you shouldn't be forced to take it. And there's a lot of other things that are going on with the virus that could be a problem. So Facebook is trying to do everything they can to suppress knowledge. Now, it may be factual knowledge, it may be not factual knowledge, but of course, they're never going to let you make up your own mind because Facebook's agenda is for them to make up your mind to follow their mind and, of course, the Democrats' minds and whatever. But now, the funny part is, as they tried to suppress this, it got worse. So people that were posting negative things about the virus found out ways to override Facebook's BS. So that's what's going on in the latest article. I think you should take a look at it. I think it's fascinating. You can actually find it online. Go to Wall Street Journal online and look up Facebook files. All right, there's going to be some more opportunities. I think Facebook is going to be an opportunity next week. Just watch for it. If you can get it down below 250 or anything lower, 235, it's going to be wonderful. I think Twitter's going to be a great play at these levels too. Once again, I've mentioned it before. Apple, I'm waiting for it to hit 142. If it does, I'm going to be very happy about that as well. Coin and Robinhood. Now, Robinhood, I think at 41 right now is a play. I'd like to see it go lower, but I don't think it wouldn't be a bad idea to grab some of it right now. All the recovery stocks that have not recovered yet are still on the top of my list. We talked about them before. The cruise stocks, the airline stocks, and all of them are still plays. I think you should play them. I think it'll be a great play. Of course, listen, if you like the show, I want to remind you to click like. I want you to remind you to click like. I want you to remind you to like the YouTube channel, and also, of course, like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. And don't forget tomorrow, or not tomorrow, we're not on the air tomorrow, but don't forget to watch the show on Monday at 4:03. Also, from time to time, I own some of the stocks and some of the options that we talk about on this show. And I am going to say goodbye now and see you on Monday. Take care.